Hello guys, it's me Simo Unohana, and in this video I want to talk about Kirinji and what his Bankai could be. I have previously made videos about Kirinji, but now with the new data that the anime had provided us about Zero Squad, I want to talk about this character according to the new information that we have. So first of all, I would like to talk about something that I don't know if you have noticed or not. Don't you notice that the Zero Squad, the Gote 13, and the Quincy's Cheerleader have a common point? Which is that their members are from distant periods of time. For example, if we check the Gote 13, and exactly in this version, we will find that Yamamoto and Unohana were from the first generation, while Kyuraku and Okitake are considered the first leaders to graduate from the academy established by Yamamoto, while Rose and Kisuke were leaders 200 years ago. Toshiro, for example, only became a leader in the last 30 years. And the same thing can be said about the Cheerleader. There are Cheerleader who existed 1,000 years ago, such as Basby and Hajvald, while Lilticho and Giselle are considered new Cheerleader, and so on. I mean, this is one of the things that distinguishes these organizations, and we can also say the same thing about the Zero Squad. For example, Ichibi is a character that predates the history of the Soul Society itself 1,000,000 years ago, and he can be considered the first person to be a servant of Ryu. Then after that we have Nimaya, and it can be said that he is a character who appeared thousands of years after the emergence of the Soul Society. He is the one who invented the Asauchi, and the concept of the Asauchi appeared when Yamamoto was still young. So Ichibi and Nimaya can be considered from the ancient era, while I think Shochara Shinjimaru can be considered the middle link between the old and the new members, as it was the inventor of the Shihakusho, which is considered the official dress of the Shinigami. That is, it is true that we don't know exactly when the Shihakusho was invented. Then we have Tenjiro Kirinji. At first, I thought that Kirinji was among the founding generation of the Gote 13, and he was the one who founded the 4th division and established its policy. But it turned out to be the opposite. The first captain of the 4th division was this person, Chigiri. Therefore, we can consider that Kirinji may be from the 2nd generation of the Gote 13. He may be the leader who succeeded Chigiri and became the leader or the captain of the 4th division. And maybe at the time he changed the policy of the 4th division by inventing Kaido as a healing art. But what we can say more about Kirinji is its background. Not only the fact that he invented the Kaido or that he was called Lightning Tenjiro, but the nature of his relationship that connected him with Unohana Yachiro, as the fact that he was the one who taught her the Kaido. He previously talked about this relationship, and at the time we didn't know yet when the battle of Zaraki and Unohana took place. Did it happen before or after the fight of Yamamoto and Yuhabach? But with the emergence of the fact that the fight of Yachiro and Little Zaraki took place after the battle of Yamamoto and Yuhabach, this increased the possibility of my theory that Kirinji was captain of the 4th squad at the time, and because of his promotion to Zero Squad, Unohana may have seen this as a good chance to leave this position of Kinpachi and go to the 4th squad, because she no longer saw herself as the real Kinpachi with the appearance of the kid Zaraki. But returning to Kirinji and Unohana, it seems that Unohana and Kirinji's relationship existed for a long time, because Unohana was learning Kaido from Kirinji in order to enjoy the fights more, whether by training her opponents and fighting them for a longer time, or training herself personally. Therefore, we find that Kirinji's relationship with Unohana is not normal, because he was the only person who spoke to her in a bad manner, so to speak. For that, I wish that Kobo had revealed the nature of this relationship between Kirinji and Unohana. So back again to Kirinji Tenjiro. If you focus guys on Kirinji's name as well as his appearance, you will see something strange. The first part of the name Kirinji, Kirin, in Japanese language can be used as a word meaning giraffe, and the shape of Kirinji is almost similar to this animal in terms of length. Also, the word Kirin refers to the mythological creature Kirin, which is a dragon whose head is shaped like the head of a deer. As for the second part of the word Ji, it means temple, and thus the full name could mean Kirin Temple. On the other hand, we can summarize the power of Kirinji in 3 important points: his distinction in Hoho, his invention of Kaido, as well as the power of his Zanpakuto. So because he was the one who invented Kaido, This gives him the ability to heal his wounds and even his friends. And also, and this is the important point, Kirinji is a master in Hoho. As he described himself when he was in the city, he was described as a lightning Tinjiro. And this gives him a huge advantage, especially when he uses his Zanpakuto Kinpika. The most distinctive things about Kinpika is the flash that comes out of his blade. He can use that flash whether in defense or attack to distract the opponent, and therefore by exploiting his great speed, he can quickly withdraw from the site, as he did when Shotaro wanted to move the injured Nimaya, or in attack as he did with Hashful. As for the Bankai, Kirinji's Bankai will most likely be an extension of the main Shikai technique, which is the rays emanating from Kinpika. If you have noticed, the radiation level of Kirinji's Shikai is limited. Therefore, I believe that the Bankai will have a greater radiation and cover a wide area, so that it may blend everyone in a wide area, so that the light will be so intense that no opponent will be able to see anything. So it can be like Tosen's Bankai. That Bankai takes a certain space and deprives the opponent of the sense of sight and also other senses. But for Kirinji's Bankai, the light might occupy a large area, depriving opponent of vision, and thus making it for Kirinji to get rid of them easily. And if this were the case, it would only remain a matter of whether the Bankai would have an effect on enemies and allies or only enemies. Although in the case of Zero Squad this problem wouldn't matter, since the rest of the members would have killed themselves before Kirinji released the Bankai. As for the fight between Ichibi and Yhwach, I think he is too far away from the Bankai's ability to reach him. On the other hand, it is possible that Kirinji's Bankai doesn't have a wide range, but rather a narrow range, so that it can either Kinpika enable Kirinji to increase his speed to a speed, I wouldn't say speed of light, but a speed sufficient to be greater than his normal speed, while giving him attack techniques based on light. And now that we said what we have said, are we gonna see the Bankai of Kirinji in the next parts? In my opinion, I don't think so. As I said before, Kubo used the plot device of killing the rest of the members of Zero Squad just to avoid himself the question why we don't see the Bankai of the other members. So he made that plot device to close the issue of the Zero Squad, when Sejimaro will be defeated by Yuryu and Ichibi by Yhwach. But as I always do, I keep a small door for hope that Kubo may surprise everyone and make some fights where we're gonna see the Bankai of Kirinji in Hikofuni in Nimaya. But for me personally, I don't see it coming. So guys, what do you think about Kirinji in normal and also his Bankai? Tell me your opinions and see you guys in my next video.